Again, from over the weekend's Talking Points USA Summit, that's outside of it though. And Alex Stein, well-known agitator at this point, jumped into the middle of a crowd of protesters that were again chanting and showing support for women's rights or reproductive rights in the country. Instead, he dove in, agitated, snatched signs, assaulted a few folks, and screamed that they should be ashamed of themselves. It's really weird that Alex Stein said people should be ashamed of themselves as they're talking about restoring folks' rights in the country, because I think he didn't look over to his left to see those Nazis hanging out front, people that actually should be ashamed of themselves. Let's watch that. Let's get the details of those collection of losers outside. As these protesters gathered outside of the Tampa Convention Center with Nazi flags, swastikas, the SS logo, and anti-Semitic caricatures of Jews, while the Turning Point USA Student Action Summit was taking place inside. Creative Loafing Tampa Bay photographer Dave Decker caught photos of these neo-Nazis waving their flags, along with flags that read DeSantis Country. Weird, huh? Who's that guy? Let's look at a picture of one of those pictures that Dave Decker took. There's those Nazis hanging out having fun. Let's take that picture, a look at that other picture that Dave took as well outside of there. It's from the scene that we did see a video of there with their caricatures, because that's funny. So this group distributed flyers, one of which said every single aspect of abortion is Jewish. The flyers say they were distributed by the Goyim Defense League, which the Anti-Defamation League describes as an extremist terrorist organization that was responsible for at least 74 anti-Semitic propaganda incidents just last year. And when the protest crowd arrived in front of the convention center, the right-wingers entered the crowd and began antagonizing protesters. Here's a little aside, because there was more people that were caught on camera for a second here or there, but I want to tell this quick story about this Uncle Sam character. One man dressed as Uncle Sam entered the crowd, attempted to put his hat over a woman's face and her megaphone, thus striking her with his hat. That Uncle Sam popped up again later when he pushed his way into the crowd, leading to a clash. Near the very end of a video from Women's Voices of Southwest Florida, Uncle Sam can be seen standing above a member of Tampa Bay Community Action Committee who had been pushed to the ground. Tampa police let the Uncle Sam impersonator go and did not comment on why they released him. So he's going in crowds, assaulting people, pushing people around, stepping and standing over folks, putting his hat over people's heads and faces and mushing them in as they're out there exercising their First Amendment rights. How about Alex Stein? You saw that in the beginning, snatching and pulling on people as well. Let's talk about what they did with him. Tampa police removed Stein from the crowd, and one officer told him, "You can't be physically fighting people." That's what he told him. You can't be physically fighting people, but he still refused to take any action. When asked why TPD just let him go with little incident, even with several witnesses, victims, and video of him instigating, Officer DJ Rhodes noted that protesters were on the walkway. He goes, "Is it a crime for him to kind of walk down and kind of scoot by?" is what he asked before saying that the protesters were blocking the sidewalk. Let's go to first that part of it before we go to what Talking Points USA responded from this, Jessica. Just this chaos and this madness and these Nazis, of course, out front that apparently shouldn't be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the funniest part about this is that they say Uncle Sam impersonator. Which suggests that there's like a real living Uncle Sam today. I think it's just funny. Okay, the other thing,
True.
When the officers just say, "Oh, could you guys please not do this? Could you just not fight?" Like that would be great. When there were leftists in the streets for Black Lives Matter, they were just gassing us. They were kettling people, arresting people. And so just the difference in police treatment for protests is insane. Especially these people have Nazi flags. And it reminds me of the kind of response on January 6th, where you had the officer going in when they were on the floor of Congress saying, "Guys, this is the most sacredest place ever. Could we get you to leave maybe?" Just the lack of action at times when we really need action is astounding. And it's because many police are aligned with the far right in the United States. But let's just settle in the fact, why would there be Nazis there defending the people in TPUSA? I don't know, is it because they're fascists? No, that can't be, right? They're the party that loves freedom. While they're in there giving speeches about taking our rights away, they're not Nazis. Wait a minute, they're taking away our basic rights. States' rights means more freedom for us? No, absolutely not. They are the bad guys. They are aligned with fascists. Nazis have DeSantis's name affiliated with them intentionally.
Well, Jessica, it's obvious. That's a false flag. That's what another one of these folks was saying. You know, what he said was these flags still had folds in them. So that means they just bought them from the local Walmart, because you can find SS and Nazi flags at your local Walmart, unfold them and run down to the convention center and act like a Nazi. That's really easy to do. How could you miss that?
Totally great and normal country that we live in. Scary, terrifying times. And just the reality that so many members of the right who vote for Donald Trump are unaware that he's the reason we have our rights being taken away. Like, I keep thinking back to those interviews with Trump supporters in the street, where the interviewer says, do you know that Donald Trump appointed the justices that took away our right to choose? And they say, it's our body, our rights. And I didn't know Donald Trump was the reason, those Supreme Court justices were appointed and this got overturned. So that actually changes how I'm thinking about 2024. Super scary that the connection isn't made by most people, because stuff like this just doesn't get covered in mainstream.
That's crazy. I would have never imagined that. I guess I'm too wonky. I'm in the middle of all this too much to not understand what people have seen, because they openly brag and say they want that credit.